So we've talked a number of times, y'all, about the Trump regime flat out not abiding by certain court orders. They've been a mixed bag where some they abide by, some they like semi-abide by, and then others they just flat out blow off. Well, now it is official. We have a whistleblower from inside who says in no uncertain terms, yeah, there are some people who are saying blow off the court orders, and others are like, sure, I'll blow it off. So let me walk you through it here. CNBC, Trump judge nominee told DOJ lawyers to ignore court orders on deportations, according to a whistleblower. A fired Department of Justice lawyer says that top DOJ official Emil Bove told department attorneys to consider telling judges, fuck you, and ignore any court order barring the Trump administration from deporting immigrants under the Alien Enemies Act. President Donald Trump has nominated Bove as a federal circuit court appeals judge, as if it would be a fucking rubber stamp for anything Trump wants to do. Senate Judiciary Committee member Dick Durbin, an Illinois Democrat, urged his Republican colleagues not to turn a blind eye to the dire consequences of confirming Bove to a lifetime position as a circuit court judge. A fired Department of Justice lawyer says that a top DOJ official, Emil Bove, who President Donald Trump has nominated to become a federal appeals court judge, told department attorneys to consider telling judges fuck you and ignoring any court order that barred the Trump administration from deporting immigrants under the Alien Enemies Act. Bove, during a March 14th meeting with the whistleblower, Erez Ruveni, and other DOJ attorneys, quote, stressed to all in attendance that the planes carrying the immigrants needed to take off no matter what, according to a letter Tuesday and Ruveni's lawyers at the Government Accountability Project. The letter was sent to the DOJ's internal watchdog and top members of Congress a day before Bove, who previously acted as Trump's criminal defense lawyer, is due to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee for a confirmation hearing on his nomination to become a judge on the 3rd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia. Let's remember, guys, it wasn't just left-wing judges that blocked the deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. There were 4 different courts that blocked Trump's deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, including a Republican judge, including a MAGA judge in Texas. Hardcore right-winger took a look at it and went, this actually makes absolutely no sense. Because remember, Alien Enemies Act deportations, in theory, you really only can do that when the country's at war. We are not officially at war, right? We're not officially at war. Also, the idea that, we're at war with Tren de Aragua, the gang, that's also not a thing. And then furthermore, they're not actually Tren de Aragua. The people that Trump is rounding up and shipping out, they're not Tren de Aragua. There's zero evidence of that. So it fails in multiple ways. We're not at war. It's against a gang, which you can't be at war against a gang. And also the people they say are in the gang are not in the gang. So that's why even MAGA judges looked at it and they were like, this makes no sense. Get this the fuck away from me. You're wrong. It comes as several federal judges have raised concerns that the DOJ has misled them, failed to comply with court orders, and deliberately delayed responding to requests for information relating to Trump administration efforts to summarily deport undocumented immigrants without due process. The letter was first reported by the New York Times. The letter says that Ruveni, who told a judge that the administration made a mistake in deporting Maryland resident Kilmar Abrego Garcia to a notorious prison in El Salvador despite a court order barring his removal to that country, was thwarted, threatened, fired, and publicly disparaged for both doing his job and telling the truth to the court. So now you understand, this is what we feared, right? This is what we feared. The order comes down from Trump and Stephen Miller. Hey, I need you to ignore court orders. I need you to lie for us. Say whatever you have to say to lie for us. Here's one guy who actually did his job in the sense that he told the truth. Yeah, this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, we deported him in error. Because he had a withholding of deportation, which means he couldn't get deported, and he certainly couldn't get deported to the place he was deported. So they violated the law. Guy had no criminal record, right? And this guy just said the facts to the court, and then he got fired for telling the truth. So now you know they've created a culture of you have to ignore court orders. You have to do it. So this is what I'm saying. When I say we need new Nuremberg trials, everybody in this regime needs to be investigated, needs to be held accountable, right? People need to go to prison for this. Because, again, it is an all-out war on rule of law. Zero concern for rule of law, not only internationally, but also domestically. Ruveni, who was acting deputy director for the DOJ's Office of Immigration Litigation, after the meeting with Bove, was involved in 3 separate cases involving the legality of immigration removal operations, the letter said. During that time, he witnessed and reported DOJ officials undermining the rule of law by ignoring court orders, presenting legal arguments with no basis in law, saw high-ranking DOJ and Homeland Security officials misrepresenting facts presented before the courts, and had DOJ officials direct him to, quote, misrepresent facts in one of these cases in violation of Mr. Rouveni's legal and ethical duties. Rouveni was placed on administrative leave on April 5th and fired 6 days later, according to his lawyer, who said he was terminated for refusing to file legal briefs that contain misrepresentations and for telling the truth to a federal judge about Abrego's deportation being carried out in error. Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, said in a statement Tuesday, quote, as a senior Justice Department official, Mr. Bove has abused his position in numerous ways, including firing January 6 prosecutors and agents and ordering career prosecutors to dismiss charges against Eric Adams for blatantly corrupt reasons, among other troubling actions. So the more corrupt you are, the more you blow off the courts, the more you serve the fascist overlords, the more you get promoted. God forbid you tell the truth, you're gone. They fire you. This is not a government. This is a regime. This is a criminal enterprise. This is a mafia, gangster, thug, fascist government. That's what it is. And this is why we've been screaming at the top of our lungs that Democrats need to fucking fight, need to grow a spine, need to say no to fucking everything, need to hold them accountable every step of the way. It needs to be a litmus test for the 2020, for the midterms, but also for the 2028 primary, that you need to say Trump needs to be in prison, Elon Musk needs to be in prison, Stephen Miller needs to be in prison, Netanyahu needs to be in prison. It's got to be a litmus test. Because again, if you don't do that, then now it's just a matter of opinion. And any Republican president who gets in there could bring in some billionaire robber baron to loot the treasury again, can destroy whatever regulatory agencies willy-nilly again, can blow off court orders and get promoted again. Like, you really don't get it. If this is not taken seriously and addressed, we are cooked as a country. It's over. It's done. So the whistleblowers telling it all, man, spilling the tea, and it's wild. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.